Diane Arbus by Kat Cook. Diane Arbus was born March 14, 1923 in New York City. Her parents were Jewish immigrants from Soviet Russia. Her father owned a department store and her mother was a socialite. So Diane and her siblings were raised by nannies and maids. She ended up marrying her childhood sweetheart, Alan Arbus, in 1941 and had two daughters, Dune and Amy. In 1946, Diane and her husband Alan started a commercial photography business, Diane and Alan Arbus. They shot for Glamour, 17, Vogue, and several other magazines. And in 1956, she studied with Lisette Model and began focusing on her own work. And according to Arbus's writings, her mentor, Lisette Model, had taught her that the more specific you are in a photograph, the more general it'll be. And she questioned whether she should strive to capture a generalized human being in order for her work to be relatable. But Model taught her otherwise, that photographs will resonate with more people if you shed generalities, if you dig deep into the heart of who's in front of the camera. In a way, the scrutiny has to do with not evading facts, not evading what it really looks like, Arbus wrote. During the 1960s, there was no real market in the art world for photography, so starving artist was very real at that time. So Diane had to make money from magazine commissions. She photographed Mae West, Ozzie and Harriet Nelson, Jane Mansfield, Gloria Vanderbilt's son, Anderson Cooper, Coretta Scott King, and many, many more. She also taught photography at the Parsons School of Design and Cooper Union in New York City, and the Rhode Island School of Design in Rhode Island. Diane didn't photograph your common subjects. She chose subjects that were considered freaks, but people who created their own identity. People living on the fringes of society, but who also possessed a strong sense of identity. Strippers, carnival workers, nudists, dwarfs, transvestites, drag queens. But by photographing both the so-called freaks and the normals in the same format, Arbus sought to eliminate the invisible boundary between traditional representations of the white middle class, Protestant, and the other, and to depict the fragmentation of identity. She focused on children, women, couples, middle-class families. She photographed them in familiar settings, parks, streets, workplaces, and homes. She connected with her subjects. She befriended them. Some she photographed many times over many years. Diane Arbus' style could be categorized as direct and unadorned. When she began photography, she began using a 35mm Nikon camera, produced square, grainy images. And now when she first began, she liked the look of the graininess, the rawness of the images. But soon after, she began wanting more, what was underneath the grit, and so she switched to a twin lens Rolleiflex camera. Still produced the square images but less grainy, and it gave it more detail. She's also pioneered using the flash during the day. She found that it isolated her subjects from the background. Now most people use a flash only when the light is dim or in the evening, but she would use it during the day out in daylight. Michael Kimmelman is cited as saying that Diane Arbus has transformed the art of photography. And in this image here, it is from a series Untitled, from 1970. She had been taking pictures of the mentally disabled, people with other disabilities as well. Something that most people didn't take pictures of at that time. It really was a different time back then, where it is normal to see someone with Down syndrome, as these two ladies in this picture. At that time in 1970, even in the 60s, most people who had any type of disability were institutionalized. They were considered burdens on their family. So it was, kind of out there for her to take pictures of these ladies, and several of the other pictures that you'll see, it's not what you would typically see. Diane Arbus garnered many accolades. She has had many, many photographs published in the Harper's Bazaar, Esquire, London Sunday Times Magazine, Art Forum. She was awarded a fellowship at the Guggenheim Foundation in 1963, and it was renewed again in 1966. Her work was included in an exhibit at the Museum of Modern Art in 1967. The Venice Biennial in 1972, she was the first photographer to be included in this, and this was a year after her death. Also in 1972, after her death, the first major retrospective of her work was on display at the Museum of Modern Art. Largest number of attendance since that time. Over 7 million people viewed her work. The book that accompanied the exhibition, Diane Arbus, an Aperture monograph, it has yet to be out of print. It is continuing to be printed, and this was work done by her oldest daughter, Dune. As stated before, Diane did not photograph your common person, your common people. This is an image of Jack Dracula, the Marked Man. This was in a series that she did with carnies, the carnival workers, sideshow freaks. They were called many different things, but this is one of the images. She's actually done many photographs of him over the years. This image is of the identical twins that she shot in 1967. This image was actually the inspiration for the twins in the movie The Shining. Originally it was just one child, until this image was seen. And anyway, they decided to use the twins because of this image. The father of the twins, when he saw this image, was a little concerned. He is quoted as saying, "We thought it was the worst likeness of the twins we had ever seen. We've always been baffled that she made them look so ghostly." This image is titled "Child with a Toy Hand Grenade in Central Park." This was taken in 1962. The child in the picture, Colin Wood, later has stated that she saw me in the frustration, the anger at my surroundings, the kid wanting to explode but can't because he's constrained by his background. Here we have the Jewish giant, taken in 1970. This is Eddie Carmel. Anne had visited the home often and has taken several pictures. Eddie Carmel actually holds the Guinness Book of World Records for his height. He was roughly around 9 feet. Here we have an image of a female impersonator on a bed. The image was taken in 1961. Diane shot many female impersonators, what we call drag queens, but over the years she has shot many pictures with them. Here's another image of, this is the naked man being a woman from 1968. This is the image of a husband and wife at a nudist camp, 1963. Diane Arbus spent quite a bit of time at nudist colonies, following the people around, getting to know them. She took pictures of them having dinner. She took pictures of them having picnics outside, just relaxing in their home, just showing that just normal everyday life at a nudist camp. Here we have a photograph of the three-legged man from 1961. Another image in her series that she did on carnival workers. Sadly, Diane Arbus struggled with depression. She struggled most of her life, and at the age of 48, she took her own life, July 26, 1971.